What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV with Brian Daigle. We've got a lot to get through today. Not a lot of time to get through it in, but how are you, Mr. Brian?
Quite frankly, today I'm wonderful. How are you, Ben, and everyone in the chat?
Yeah, frankly speaking, I'm pretty good as well, to be honest. Beat
It's a
the
good
Arsenal yesterday, got a here we go yesterday. Not much happening, is there, Brian?
No, and then it's all releasing now that Thomas Frank picked up the phone and made the call. The
Which will
Frank call is alive, people. It's alive.
It's alive and well, and let's get into that first. We're going to get into a Tottenham update, and first and foremost regarding Mikey Moore. That's a done deal, signed, sealed and delivered. He has joined Rangers on a season-long loan move, which, in my opinion, I think this loan move can really be the making of him.
Yeah, it really does, doesn't it? He'll go there. It'll be physical. He'll be getting lumps kicked out of him. He'll get regular game time, and I've always had a soft spot for Rangers because of Gaza, and now many Spurs fans, I would imagine, are going into their Spurs app and setting notifications for Rangers.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm definitely going to be keeping a close eye on them. Yeah, like you say, physical league, a league that he can thrive in. Not such a high quality league in terms of the Scottish League, but I think it's a season where he's at the age now where he can. A season like that, playing consistently, it can turn a boy into a man, and I'm very excited to see what happens. But it does beg the question about what we do this summer if Sonny's to leave. So we're going to get into Sonny in a minute. But if Sonny is to leave this summer, do we dip in and get a left winger along with Odegaard and Tell? Or do we stick with Odegaard and Tell and then trust Mikey's coming back next season to fight for that first team spot?
Well, it's a very good question. It's a very good question. But also, still a top winger could come in and it's more competition. It could see one of the players you just mentioned seen going out the door. And you know what, going back to Mikey as well, with Mikey, is it really about the quality of league he plays in or going there and getting regular minutes?
Yeah.
And I think what he needs is regular minutes, and it'll be a great education for him. I think the regular minutes will be more of an advantage than if he went to, like, let's say, Serie A, or where the quality is obviously another level up compared to the Scottish League. So it just ticks a lot of boxes. And Sonny's probably departure means we do need a standout left winger or someone of a high caliber to replace him, not just for what he is on the pitch, but what he is to the team off it as well. So it's interesting times for that left wing spot, isn't it?
Yeah. I kind of the thinking now that maybe we should just persist with Tell and Odegaard. It'll do wonders for their development as well. I've really liked what I've seen from Odegaard in pre-season so far. You saw when Tell came on. Yeah, I know he came on in the number 9 yesterday, but his best work came off the left, putting in that cross for Van de Ven at the back post. So it does make me think, should we just persist with Tell and Odegaard with knowing that Mikey Moore comes back in next season?
Well, that is going to be down to the man at the top, isn't it? It's going to be down, not the man, it's not the man in the dugout, to see what he does and see how Mikey progresses at Rangers. We do have an incredible amount of wingers. We are stacked, whether it's stacked with quality or just stacked numerically, time will tell. But Odegaard and Tell have got big seasons ahead of them if a left winger doesn't come in, and hopefully they'll grab it with both hands. Yeah,
absolutely. Another academy player that Spurs apparently have had some offers for is Tyrese Hall. So Peter O'Rourke says that Tottenham have received loan interest from the Championship, League One and League Two for Tyrese Hall, and a decision is expected in the next 24 hours. Obviously, probably player of the year for the under-21s last season. The year before, he kind of was at the under-18s and then he got upgraded to the under-21s. A player of top ability, in my opinion, and he's got a big future ahead of him, and it'll be interesting to see where he goes.
Yeah, just a quick one with this, Ben. With the loan players, if it's a youth team, that doesn't come into the quota of like 8 players we can loan out in a season. I think youth players are separate to first squad amount, or do they all count?
I think it all counts, but I'm not entirely sure. I think it does all count.
So that could be Dorrington out on loan, Phillips out on loan,
yeah,
Mikey out on loan, So what are we up to? About 4 already? If Tyrese
Um,
Hall goes.
yeah, so let's bring back this graphic and it'll tell you. So Ajayi's out on loan as well.
There you go. There's another one. So that's what the loans are already creeping up, aren't they? So
Valise.
if we're
So
looking,
at the moment we got 5.
okay, and what is it? Around 8
I
that
think
we
it's
can
8.
have.
Yeah, yeah,
So we got obviously if you've got your Alfie Divines and whatever that you're going to get out or sell. This is what Thomas Frank's got to think about. But Tyrese Hall definitely needs a loan, doesn't he? I can't
yeah.
see him getting regular minutes at Spurs this season, so it will be good to get him out loan. Like I said, he looks like another terrific talent that's been rolled off the conveyor belt, and they need experience.
Yeah, exactly. So again, wherever he goes, I'm sure he'll, you know, it'll do him the world of good in terms of development. And I'm sure whatever team get him will be a lucky team as well, because I think he's a player of supreme talent. And I think he showed last year, probably the under 21s, he's ready for that step up, in my opinion. Go on.
No, I might be changing location very shortly.
Okay.
I'll let you know.
Let's talk about Sonny, as there's been a report on him from Florian Plettenberg, says that talks between Son Heung-min and LAFC are ongoing. Tottenham have been informed. However, there is no agreement or decision at this stage, and this story is set to be continued. We know that talks are going to progress and ramp up after the tour is over. The last day of the tour is Sunday when we play Newcastle in Korea. We know Son's contractually obliged to play in that game. So, in my opinion, there's just something not right with Sonny at this moment in time. We saw on the pitch in the game yesterday against Arsenal, you know, Cuti Romero was trying to get him to put the armband on. He didn't want it, and Romero had to like forcefully put it on his arm and everything like that. I'm not sure if we can read too much into that. Is that just Son being humble? Is there more to read into that? I'm not too sure, but there is just something not right with Sonny at this moment in time, and I firmly believe that Newcastle is probably going to be his last game.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you, Joe. It's a shame that we're talking about it as if something isn't right for his exit. I think he just wants a fresh start. I think he just wants a fresh start, and the way the chips have fallen this is the way that it's panned out. Obviously, we won the Europa League trophy. There wasn't going to be any home games left for swan songs for him to have. So it does look like, from his body language, he doesn't look like you've seen him walking around away from the pitch. You can normally see his smile a mile off.
Yeah,
He's always got that smile with him. He's just not there. I think he is ready for a fresh challenge, and by the looks of it, it's the right time to do it, isn't it? And LA is just creeping up, isn't it?
It's a shame for me. It's a massive shame, because I think Sonny still has more to give, in my opinion. And I think Sonny, with the ability that he still has going to the MLS, I think it's too soon. I really do.
Yeah,
and I think he could have given one more year to Spurs.
We've had this discussion both on here and privately. I think he probably could still do it in the Premier League for another year or other leagues in Europe. It's whether Sonny wants to.
Yeah.
Sonny probably feels that he could do it, but he might say, you know what? And maybe I'll say, but I want a complete fresh challenge in a brand new country, brand new league, brand new culture. And that's what I think it's mainly of. I think he wants to go and experience something because his career is coming to an end. And I don't think it's a case of whether he can do it or if he's lost self-belief in himself. I just think he wants to experience something new.
Yeah. I mean, but going to the MLS, like experiencing something new and staying in one of Europe's top 5 leagues and still competing kind of at a top level, I would actually have less of a problem with. I've got more of a problem that he wants to go to the MLS at this point, where I still think he's got more to give at the top level. That's what I'm trying to say.
He's thinking smart. He's going to acclimatise for the World Cup next summer. He's going there. He won't have to. But I mean, obviously, the travel to go and play for South Korea in international breaks, that's going to be. I don't know if it goes the other way around and becomes a similar kind of flight or an even longer flight. But if he comes to the MLS, obviously living over here and seeing the MLS and what these players bring to the North American Football League and everything they want to do it's massive over here. It's a huge deal, and like we said, there is a massive South Korean population community in Los Angeles. So that will make him have some home comforts and fair play to him. But if he comes over here, he's going to be incredible for the league and a
Yeah.
real injection of class before the World Cup. And the spotlight will be even more on America.
And I have no doubt you'll be going to watch him in Toronto when they face Toronto away.
And Hugo, mate, and Hugo. I'll go. I didn't get to go see Messi because Brian Ireland wouldn't give me a ticket, funnily enough. His missus wants to go. But if it's Sonny and Lloris, yeah, I'll be there.
Next up, we are going to talk about the main man, Joao Palhinha. So me and Brian, we did an update last night where Florian Plettenberg and Romano and a few other journalists were talking about it. And then
just carry on doing that. I'm going to change location. I'll be back in 2 seconds.
Okay.
2 seconds, I'll be back with you.
And then an hour after we did the update, we got the "Here we go" from Fabrizio Romano. So Fabrizio said, Joao Palhinha to Tottenham, here we go. Final green light arrived now from Bayern Munich. Exclusive detail. Loan deal includes a €30 million buy option clause, so which is about £26 million. For Tottenham, it's not mandatory. The salary has been covered by Spurs. Bayern said yes, and Palhinha will now travel for medical tests. And then he followed on from that, and he said this morning that Joao Palhinha said yes to Tottenham after speaking with Thomas Frank. Frank is very excited about the opportunity to have Palhinha at Spurs, who can provide experience, quality and intensity. He's the exact type of player that Frank wanted at Spurs. And David Ornstein says that Joao Palhinha is undergoing medical tests in Germany today ahead of joining Tottenham from Bayern Munich. The deal for the 30-year-old Bayern Munich midfielder, season-long loan with an option to buy next summer for €30 million. Tottenham will cover the full wages for the Portuguese international. So those wages are close to 200 grand a week in terms of euros. So he'll be close to, well, definitely if Son leaves, he'll be one of, if not the top earner at the club next season. I think he's a player that excites me a lot. It's a profile that we don't have in the squad. I think you look at when he was in the Premier League a couple of years back, most tackles in the league, most duels in the league, one of the most aggressive players in the middle of the park, from defensive and offensive set pieces as well. Very dangerous in both sides of the pitch. You saw him get a few goals from the offensive set pieces. So I'm very excited for this deal for Joao Palhinha, and I think he's the exact player that we've needed for such a long time at this football club, probably since Wanyama has left. And great to hear that Thomas Frank got on the phone to him and he said yes after that phone call. So what's your reaction to that, Brian?
Well, obviously, like you were saying just before I left, and sorry for just leaving you there. Obviously, like you said, we did that update and it was just bubbling away. And then obviously, as always, once we've done it, moments later, here we go. It's always the way for all content creators, isn't it? It's always the way. But it's a very, very welcomed addition. We were looking at it, and obviously people would have seen the Thomas Frank pre and post game little snippet Spurs released, especially the pre one where he was like, win those duels, win the second ball. Well, that is Joao Palhinha. That is 100% him to a T. So coming in on loan is a very smart move as well, because obviously a lot of people going, well, we still got that 60 million from the transfer that didn't happen. That now doesn't have to be spent on a number 6 and whatever may be. Having the buyback, or sorry, the buy option, should I say, not buyback, is great. And then you wake up in the morning and you hear someone made the phone call. And see, look at that smile that just came on your face. It's the Frank Paul, buddy. The Frank Paul. It's a very, very smart addition. We know what he can do in the Premier League. We know what he's capable of. We know he's got the experience, European, international, Premier League, London life, no problem. It just ticks all the boxes.
Yeah, I completely agree, and I can't wait to see him get started. And judging by the North London derby yesterday and how astute we were defensively, how organised we were, adding Palhinha into that mix, we're going to be such a tough team to play against next season. I think teams are going to dread playing Tottenham next year, and we're going to be very hard to play against. And I think we're going to be a really solid outfit. Yes, look, there are two sides to that, because we need to improve the attacking output of the team. And I think so far in pre-season, the attacking output hasn't been good enough. But what we need to do first and foremost is to be a tough team to play against. And too often under Ange Postecoglou over the last 2 years, we were too much of a soft touch. We were too easy to play against at times, too easy to attack against. So I think what Frank's first job is to make us a difficult team to play against. And I think this goes some way to doing that. We're going to be very organised. We're going to have good defensive players there and a good defensive structure. So now we've got that side of the game looking like on the right path. We need to focus on the attacking side now.
We do, and I will say as well, we talk about Palhinha as well. With Palhinha, if you do get past him, you've got Romero and Van de Ven to try and get past. You know, when we had Wanyama, it was like, right, try and get past the Belgian barrier of Vertonghen. It just gives that insurance for those two in front of it, behind him, sorry. And that is a formidable triangle and angles to have. And you got to get past Palhinha, one of the best tacklers in Premier League whilst the time he was here, and winning the ball. And then you got to deal with Romero and Van de Ven. That insurance policy, because like I said, our midfield, whether it be injuries, whether it be formation, it just looked so imbalanced last season, didn't it? There was just, you could see what was trying to happen, but the way they were playing, they were just too far stretched. And with the two wing backs bombing forward, we were just so exposed. And I think we've seen, especially from the Arsenal game yesterday, that we are going to be very, very compact and as a unit, and midfielders will be defending as well. So having that extra layer of protection for them is just brilliant.
Yeah, absolutely. But let's move on to the last topic of the update, and it is regarding Randall Kolo Muani. So we brought you yesterday, a few journalists were piping up and saying that Spurs have revived their interest in Kolo Muani. The Times, a few journalists from the Times are also on the back of that saying Tottenham have revived their interest in Randall Kolo Muani. However, we got the "Here We Cold" from Ali Gold yesterday, and he says the renewed links to Randall Kolo Muani are believed to be wide off the mark. So do we believe the Times? Do we believe some other Tier 1 journalists that were saying that linking Spurs to Kolo Muani? Or does Ali Gold's kind of information ring true on this one, saying that the reports to be wide off the mark? There's also could be a bit of games going on in the press where PSG are trying to get Juventus to hurry up a little bit and put Spurs' name in there. We all know, Brian, how clubs like to use Spurs' name, don't we? So maybe there's a bit of that going on.
Exactly. But again, do you know what I have liked? It's shown this window the calibre of players we're actually being linked with. Have been a much higher calibre. Whether we've got them or, you know, you look at those left wing, there's Leao, there's obviously the Eze links that just don't go away. There's still no confirmation with Arsenal pulling the trigger. There are some players there. Kolo Muani playing along one side, Kudus, and the option to go into the centre as well would be a very strong addition. I think you're right. I think this may be Juventus and PSG doing what they do and us stuck in the middle. But we shall see. I think things will develop, but we look how Palhinha developed. It started again, bang, went. MGW started when. I think if Muani was legit, the way we have tried to act, this might be a lot further down the line, if it was serious for us, than just, we're monitoring, we're talking, whatever it may be.
A lot of fans I've seen on social media, I've just seen a comment in the live chat just now saying about Kolo Muani, well, he rejected us in January in favour of a move to Juventus, and they don't want him because of that situation. Would you be of the same thinking? Like, if he's rejected us once, is that enough for you?
Yeah, it was like that guy. I feel that way whenever we get linked with that Rabiot. Every time I was like, no, you've done it 2 or 3 times. We remember that deal. He said he wanted a Champions League team at one point, didn't he? He said he wanted, and there were certain things, and then there were things that where Juventus would pay the wages, or whatever it was. There were many complications in getting that deal done, and it looked like outright he wanted to go to Juventus. I think if there's a possibility and he is interested, or we should talk to him. We should talk to him, but then it's going to be down to the player, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And one's just come through from Ed Aarons of The Guardian. You'll be happy about this one, Brian. Say it's understood that Tottenham want to sign a left back this summer. So there's kind of been talk of Anthony Robertson, but it's not really been crazy talk about bringing in a left back. But look, we all know that we kind of do need one, with Udogie being the only natural left back in the squad. Ben Davies there, is he going to be around next season? Spence, obviously he put in a very strong performance at left back, but we kind of do need cover, don't we?
We do, and you know what? I think Jed Spence, when we look at it, and he did it again yesterday, I think he's stronger at left back. I really do, and I'm going to chuck a real curveball out at you, Ben, and I'm going to also the chat, however many are in here, this will probably get slaughtered. But we were talking about Sirkin.
Yeah.
Would you? This is just a would you keep Spencer left back, and if you want homegrown, and I'm only doing this because I'm homegrown club trained, go get Japhet Tanganga back.
But he's a centre back.
He can play right back like he did against Man City and dominated with Frank.
It's true.
I'm just, like I said, I'm not saying this is the one and this is what we should go for, this is how we should do it. But we keep talking about left backs, and I was of the one that said, listen, if we could get Anthony Robinson and keep Spencer right back, cool, brilliant, amazing. That'll be absolutely fantastic. But as we've said, and as you and Sim have spoken about so much, homegrown, club trained is a big problem. If Japhet, and this is just a curveball, like I said, this is just, we keep talking about Sirkin or Carl Walker-Peters. If you look at Japhet Tanganga, we talk about the injuries like he had with us. He hasn't missed a game for Millwall, not a single one in the Championship. He's played we're talking 46 games. Not saying that this is, oh my God, let's go get him, I'm champion Japhet Tanganga. But if we're talking homegrown, could Jed Spence be the left back if we can't get a Robinson or whatever, and go bring someone like Tanganga back?
Look, I get it. I get what you're trying to say, but I think Tanganga was doing a job filling in at right back. He is a centre back, and I don't think we want him at right back. I don't think we want him at right back, in my opinion. So I would say no, because I'm done with square pegs and round holes. Okay, if we want a right back, let's go get a right back. You know what I mean?
All right, so Spence right back. Let's go back to what I really want. What I really want, and that will be Anthony Robinson left back.
Yeah, I'd much prefer that, to be honest.
Yeah, that will be real competition for place. But I was just going along the hope because, like I said, we spoke about homegrown and club trained so much, and obviously he just went completely off the radar.
Yeah.
And then I don't know why, but yesterday somehow his Man City performance came into my algorithm on YouTube, and I was like, huh. But now
Tanganga.
Yeah, exactly. The most random thing ever.
Another one's actually just been brought to my attention. Barcelona defender Ronald Araujo has been linked with a move away from Barcelona, and Tottenham have been mentioned as a possible destination. According to Fichajes, Tottenham are the most serious about signing the Uruguayan international. They are looking to improve their defensive unit, and they have already made initial moves. Obviously, he's a player that has played a hell of a lot for Barcelona over the last couple of years, a top-level centre-back. But again, like with the news, Romero staying and stuff like that, I just can't see us bringing him in. However, I do believe he has played right back on a couple of times in his career, but he's not a right back. He's a centre back.
There you go.
Over the course of his Barcelona career, he's played 13 games at right back and 105 games at centre back.
Okay, so there you go. But Joe, what? It's funny you mention this, because when we're talking about Zabani from Bournemouth, I saw a lot of the YouTube comments, as in the YouTube comments after, going, why can't people see, or you and I specifically, it could be because we're playing a back three. And he might, and I was like, whoa, if we're going to play a back three, we've got Kevin Danso. We don't need to spend a whopping amount for another central defender. I think Danso in a back three, Dragushin when he comes back. So it is that Romero kind of link, but we've seen Romero pretty much, if you read into his social media or the post he put, has pretty much said, without saying it, that he's here for the season. Whether that means he's committing or not, that's a different question. But Like you said, we were just talking about obviously right back with a centre back, and you don't want square pegs in round holes. That's very much the same, isn't it? Just
Yeah.
just a current Barcelona player, not a Millwall player.
Yeah, I mean, last season he did have his injury problems. Played 11 games at centre back and 1 game at right back. The thing is, though, the difference is that he's a top level player. He really is a top level player. And Japhet Tanganga, I mean, he's been playing his trade at Millwall, and I love Tanganga, right? Academy player and all that. But I think I would love to see Arujo at the club. I just can't see where he fits in, to be honest.
Let's just say, if anyone woke up today and thought they were going to hear you and I speak about Barcelona and Millwall in the same sentence, I don't think a lot of people would have that. But there we go. But yeah, it looks like we are. Do you know what? The Morgan Gibbs White deal that didn't happen looked like it was keeping us completely shut and nothing was going on. Well, now that's over and the rumours are coming in, the links are coming in. Now it's just down to Spurs to pursue them.
Yeah.
And it's good to hear that, like we were saying before we came on, we're actually targeting areas of need.
That's the thing, yeah.
That's the most important thing. We look at previous, and not just as Postecoglou, you go back to Poch. Probably go back further where it's like, right, we need this position, we need the position. Oh, we'll go over there. Or we need that position, we'll go over here. So it really is refreshing to see Spurs as a club, as a whole club, pulling in the right direction to go and get players in designated areas that we actually need cover or strengthening.
Yeah, to be fair, I think the first summer under Ange Postecoglou, we did do it as well. You know, we needed that keeper, we got Vicario. We needed the 10, we got Maddison. We needed a left-sided centre-back, we went and got Mickey van der Ven. So I think, like, since Paratici and latter Lange has come in, the kind of scouting and the targeting has been a lot better, hasn't it?
It has, and obviously as well, what has been throwing everyone off previous transfer windows is the links and the rumours and the hearsay was here, there, and everywhere. But the club went, but it genuinely sees that they are genuinely targeting quality for the areas that Frank wants improving, which is great to see.
Yeah, absolutely. But look, that is your Tottenham update for today. Let me know in the comment section below your thoughts regarding all the links we have brought you today. One done deal in Mikey Moore to Rangers, and one very, very close in Joao Palhinha, who is looking, apparently doing his medical today out in Germany. I wonder if he does his, I mean, it's probably too late to go out to Korea and take part in the friendly, so his debut could be against Bayern Munich next week, which is crazy. But let us know, let us know your thoughts on that in the comments section below. We're going to move on and we're going to look back at the game yesterday, and we're going to be giving you our player ratings for the 1-0 win against Arsenal in the North London derby out in Hong Kong. So let's get straight into that, and let's start off with Vicario. Brian gives him a 6. I give him a 6 as well. Quite unbelievably, he barely had anything to do, Vicario. I mean, I think a couple of moments, a bit of heart and mouth moment playing out the back where he was just kicking the ball out of play a little bit. One save towards the end, I think it was from Max Dowman, which was more of like a routine save. But apart from that, he pretty much had nothing to do, did he?
Yeah, I mean, his distribution again with his long passing or whatever. But like we said when we did Frankfurt, I'd rather him kick it as far as possible and it'd be out of danger rather than playing at the back. I think what he did do well is obviously he looked a lot more commanding because of our defending, coming for corners, coming for crosses. He looked a lot more assured there, especially the crosses. There wasn't that clutter in the box for him to run into or anything. So really nothing for him to do. So it's very hard to give him a mark higher than a 6.
Yeah. Next up is Pedro Porro. Brian gives him a 9. I give him an 8, and he is really he's been outstanding in pre-season so far. And, you know, his crossing and his corners were so dangerous, particularly in the first half. I mean, one nearly went all the way through and ended up hitting the post. I just love seeing his delivery, and I think it's going to be so dangerous. Such a dangerous weapon for us this season is Pedro Porro's right foot. And yeah, I felt like he wasn't going forward too much, but his defensive work is the thing that really impressed me yesterday. I mean, there was one moment when Cuti Romero kind of headed it back into the path of Declan Rice, and no problem, Pedro Porro was there to mop it up. And I think he locked down Martinelli throughout the game as well.
Yeah, I mean, for me, Pedro Porro has been the player of pre-season. For me personally, I think he's been outstanding. And what I loved about him, obviously, we know about his passing, we know about his creativity, we know about what he could do. His set pieces were fantastic yesterday, but you mentioned it, the defending has been the problem where people say, oh, do you know what? Maybe he gets caught out, maybe he's too far forward. And it looks like Frank and the team have been working on that and giving him coaching tips on how to become and where he wants him to defend. And he did it brilliantly yesterday. So, player of the pre-season for me so far, a great performance. Hopefully he'll be in the captain leadership team when Frank makes it. And long may this continue, because I think it's going to be a big season for him.
Yeah, absolutely spot on. We move on to Cuti Romero with the armband on. 8s all round. Brian gives him an 8. I give him an 8. And yeah, I mean, he was at his aggressive best yesterday. I thought that, look, it didn't come without a few mishaps, because there were a few kind of sloppy moments in there from Cuti Romero. But what he did really well, he completely won that physical battle against Kai Havertz. Kai Havertz could get no spare change out of him whatsoever. A few nice moments. He tried one pirouette in the box, which he got fouled for, and he also sold Kai Havertz down the river. It made Kai Havertz completely take out Jed Spence with a little nutmeg, and I thought his playing out the back and his passing into the midfield through the lines I thought was brilliant. So a really good performance from Romero.
It really was, and obviously seeing that partnership with Mickey van der Ven, it's a solid one, and when they're both on it together, it's a very, very solid base. And you're right, listen, defenders are going to make the odd slip here and there, and I think we've become so critical, not just to Spurs, they need to have the perfect game, and if one pass goes wrong or whatever, he loves to defend, and he defended superbly. Nothing got past him, and like you said, there's a little bit of showboating and everything, and it was the performance that we kind of love and want to see more of from Romero, and he looks happy. We thought it was going to be like a very, very touchy situation, but fair play to Romero and a very good performance.
Yeah. We move on to Mickey van der Ven. 8s all round for Mickey, and it was great to see Romero and van der Ven back together. I think the last time we seen it was the Europa League final, so It was good to see them back together. I thought Mickey was rock solid. I couldn't see any faults in Mickey's defending yesterday. No Arsenal player could get past him, no spare change whatsoever, and I felt like, he didn't have to do his marauding runs backwards, but I thought he went about his business quite quietly, quite confidently, but really astutely and assured as well. So I really enjoyed Mickey van der Ven's performance yesterday.
You enjoyed it. Good. Glad you enjoyed it. What I will say with Mickey van der Ven, there's a lot of people were speculating and saying, okay, now he's not going to make those last-ditch runs and those last-minute sprints that everyone loves. We're going to see what kind of defender he is, where he's not going to need to do that constantly. Is he going to be able to do it? And like you said, he did everything he needed to do. Didn't need to make any of those massive sprints to save the day, but what came his way, he dealt with, he mopped up, and I think with this style, we're going to get Mickey van der Ven a lot more minutes on the pitch, because he's not having to make all those runs non-stop. So it was good to see Mickey and not have to. I don't think we have to say one thing where it was like, oh, did you see that massive run from Mickey? Did you see that last ditch where it was a solid performance, and he did what he did without having to use his pace?
Yeah, Frank will be very good for his hamstrings, that's for sure.
Oh, very good.
There was obviously one moment in the last 15 minutes where Tell puts in a beautiful cross for him, and he probably should have scored. But from a defensive standpoint, I thought he was brilliant. Let's move on to Jed Spence. Brian gives him an 8. I gave him an 8. I thought it was a sensational performance from Jed Spence. I thought him and Porro were just controlling the flanks, to be honest. And it was a really difficult day for Spence, because he had Saka to contend with, where all their play was coming down the right wing. And then when Saka went off, they had Max Dowman, the 15-year-old, and he looked really bright down that side as well. And I thought Jed, particularly with Saka, just dealt with him so well, really aggressive up against him. I thought he was winning his duels for the most part. And I just think he dominated. And I think, look, he's probably emptying his pockets this morning, and he's probably emptying, and he goes, oh, Bakaya, what are you doing down there?
I will say with this, it reminded me, do you remember when Jose Mourinho had that bet on with Reguilon, where if Mahrez don't get past you once, I'll buy you that £500 ham?
Yeah.
Well, Spencer's come in and had the danger man of Arsenal and pretty much done exactly what Reguilon did back then. Saka, who we know is a very, very dangerous player, and we've seen him previously, very recently, destroy us, single-handedly be the catalyst to absolutely win North London derbies on his own. Well, yesterday he had Jed Spence to deal with, and there was only one winner, and that was Jed.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's move on to Rodrigo Bentancur. 7s all round for Rodrigo. Look, I thought it was a decent display from him. I thought definitely in the opening stage of the game, first 15, 20 minutes, he had a little personal battle going on with Bukayo Saka, and he was bringing him down a couple of times, making a few fouls, got that yellow card as well. But what I thought he did really well is just kept the ball ticking, moving forward, trying to drive the team forward as well, and just being a real aggressive warrior in the middle of the park for us.
Yeah, do you know what? He grew into the game. He grew into the game. And he just did what he needed to do. I remember games in Europe, like the Eintracht Frankfurt, where his defensive work was incredible. He was up and down everywhere, and he took one for the team with the yellow card. Just hurry up and sign your contract, because a Bentancur on form and purring is an incredible weapon to have, and it was a good performance.
Yeah. Lucas Bergvall up next. Brian gives him a 6. I gave him a 7. He started in the 10 role in this game, and I think that in terms of a creative outlet, I don't think we saw that much from Bergvall yesterday. But this guy just did not stop running. Throughout the whole time he was on the pitch, run. Frank would have loved what we've seen with the work that he did off the ball. I think he was winning the ball back consistently for us, interceptions, duels, and I just think he put a tireless effort in for the team. And look, I would like to see a bit more from a creative outlet from him yesterday, but I do think that he helped us win that midfield battle.
Yeah, I mean, the only reason I gave him a 6, not a 7, was, like you said, he started off in the 10. And we've been saying we've been lacking creativity, and it was his role essentially to try and do that. Not his fault, obviously. It's pre-season. He's going to be learning how to play for Frank. But I think what I did love with him, like I said, he didn't stop. What I loved yesterday is the midfield getting back to help the defence. And he, like you said, he was tirelessly running up and down that pitch. The only reason I've marked him down 1 to you was obviously I just wanted to see a bit more creatively. But defensively, he was great.
Yeah. Big Pape Matar Sarr, 9s all round for Big Pape. And Pape, you know, you talk about Pedro Porro being the player of pre-season. I mean, Pape ain't far behind him. 3 goals so far for Pape. Yeah. This one obviously topped the lot, a goal from pretty much the halfway line that had David Raya flapping. And Richarlison did foul. He did foul Lewis Skelly, Richarlison. So, I mean, maybe in the Premier League that goal would have been ruled out by VAR, but don't take away anything from the strike that Pape did yesterday. I mean, it was pinpoint over the head of Raya, left him flapping, and it was a lovely finish. But it wasn't just the goal that I was impressed with Pape. It was his work rate, it was his tenacity. I thought box-to-box role from a defensive standpoint, driving the team forward as well. I think the Arsenal players must be having a few nightmares of Pape yesterday because they just couldn't handle him. I thought he was running that midfield yesterday. So I'm really liking what I'm seeing from Pape Matar Sarr. Frank said after the game how impressed he's been with Pape so far, and I'm not surprised because he's been brilliant.
Yeah, like I said, Porro for me, player of the pre-season so far. But I'll tell you what, if there's a most improved and the one player in the whole squad that's grabbing this opportunity by the hands to say I'm first on the team sheet for midfield, then look no further than Pape Matar Sarr. We saw he's got a shot on him. He scored a couple of goals. He scored a couple of goals or a few goals underhand. So he's got it in his locker. But now he's showing it consistently. And obviously it was a wonder goal yesterday. The 2 goals against Wickham. First thing I loved was him making that for the first goal. It was simple tapping, but he made the run. He was ahead of all the strikers. He was alert. So Pape Matar Sarr has been very, very impressive. And you know what? People were wondering what was going to do with the midfield. And I was like, maybe Pape might have to be moved on or whatever. But he is really grabbing the ball by the horns, and he is thriving under Thomas Frank. And yes, it's pre-season. But I would say right now, if we were starting Burnley tomorrow, predicted lineup, the first midfielder I'd put in the team is Pape Matar Sarr.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? Because you're thinking with Palhinha coming in now, what is our first choice 3-man midfield? Like, are you saying Palhinha, Pape, and Maddison?
On current form, you'd have to, I think. Or Maddison, we don't know. He's obviously coming back to fitness. So I think come Premier League kickoff time or whatever, that would be the number 10 unless someone comes in. But I think right now, if you base it on form, obviously you can't judge Palhinha, but for what he does, I think Pape Matar has done enough to deserve that other spot. But that's based on pre-season. But yeah, I think it would be if Palhinha's here, we're kicking off Burnley tomorrow. I think it would be Palhinha, Pape, and Maddison.
Wow.
In my opinion.
Let's move on and let's talk about Mohamed Kudus. 8s all round for Mo, and I thought he was brilliant yesterday. Look, I'd like to see him be more of a goal threat. However, you can just see how much of an impact this guy is going to have for us next season. I thought Lewis Skelly found it really hard to deal with him. He's so strong. He's so physical. Does the dirty work as well in terms of defensive output, always running back for the team, working hard for the team. And when he's backing into you, there's just nothing you can do. You can't get the ball off him. He just backs into you, and then he either does the quick pass and move, or he'll just spin you. So I love what I'm seeing from Mohamed Kudus so far. Like I said, I want to see some more in terms of goal contribution output and getting him closer to goal. But the work that he does in the middle of the park, just with his physical frame, I think is brilliant, to be honest.
The first half, he was everywhere, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Tracking back, running down the right. He's got power. He's got energy. We know what kind of tricks and everything he's got and the flair in him. But I just want to say, West Ham fans that were saying, he's lazy, he won't track back, he's selfish, well, I haven't seen any of that. Obviously, again, pre-season, you can't take...
Yeah.
But I've been very, very impressed. He seems to have slotted into the team well. And every time he's been on, I've been impressed with him. And long may that continue. Obviously, hopefully, we'll see a lot more of him on Sunday. But I don't know. We've needed that right wing sorted for a while, haven't we? It's been an area that needs fixing. And it looks like we've finally got there and fixed it. And I'm very excited to see what he offers.
When's the last time that we've signed a player in the front line and straight away he's come in and been our best player in the front line? Because you can say, like, Kudus is by far our best player in the front line right now. When's the last time that's actually happened? Because we've always had a Kane, we've always had a Sonny.
Jurgen Klinsmann?
It very well could be, you know.
It could be. I mean, trying to think. I can't think. Honestly, I'm being dead serious. Probably Jurgen Klinsmann.
Yeah, it's mad, isn't it? It's been a long time. But let's move on to Wilson Odegaard. In my opinion, another player that's flourishing in this preseason. Brian gives him a 6. I gave him a 7. I was very impressed with Odegaard yesterday. I thought he gave their right-hand side a lot of problems in Ben White. He forced... He didn't force a save, actually. He hit the post where it ricocheted off one of their defenders and kind of span off to the post. But I thought he was a threat down that left-hand side. Not as much of a threat as Kudus, which I've marked him down one. But I think you've seen so far, because everyone's been questioning Odegaard, how's he going to fit in with all the talent that we have, all the players that we have at wing? Does he need a loan spell? Are we going to sell him? All this kind of stuff. But I think he's looked definitely our best left winger so far in pre-season, so credit to him. And I think he's really grabbing that spot at this moment in time.
I have to say, out of all the players, this was the hardest one. I couldn't work out. I was really like, do I give him a 7? Do I give him a 6? He was good yesterday. He was good. And what I did like is I've seen a few compilations or clips of him. He just seemed to be a bit freer and have a bit more confidence in himself than he did last season, whether that was because of his injury, whether that was the way the team were and the morale and confidence, whatever. Hit the post. I think his final ball and his decision-making just wasn't there. But it was a great shot to get, a nice little place shot to hit the post. He looked good and sharp against Wickham. Yes, it was only Wickham. He is looking sharper. He is looking better. But I just think that decision-making or final ball, especially if he is going to be the left winger and Solanke, it needs to improve and be nearer to Kudus' level. But did enjoy watching him yesterday. And I really struggled whether to give him a 6 or a 7.
And last but not least, the starting 11, Richarlison. Brian gives him a 6. I gave him a 4. I mean, we all saw that moment where the ball comes flying in and the ball kind of attacked him instead of him attacking the ball. And he was about 2 yards out and it doesn't go in the back of the net. I mean, as a striker, you just got to attack those and you know, you get any decent touch on it and it pretty much goes in the back of the net. I mean, apart from that, I think he was just running around like a headless chicken a little bit. Didn't get too involved in the game. A bit isolated up front. The only thing I remember him doing, apart from the moment that I spoke about, was the shithousery when we scored. So, I mean, that's the best thing about Richarlison, isn't it? Is his shithousery, to be honest.
And there's the 2 marks up that I gave 2 marks for shithousery. No, what I do think with Richarlison, obviously he missed that chance. I think, like I said, he does run around, but he always is there. He's always putting pressure on the players, or the opposition. His defensive work, again, at set pieces, tracking back and doing that kind of work, he will always do that. He'll always do that. But there was nothing really to write home about offensively. But I think he does give something. He needs to, obviously it's not enough, but the pressure he puts on the opposition, his defensive work and duties that he does do, and then how can you not give him marks for shithousery? If there's anyone that deserves marks for shithousery, it's that man.
Yeah, I agree. Let's move on to the substitutes. We go to Kevin Danso first and foremost. Replace Romero on the half-hour mark. 7s all round for Danso. And yeah, I mean, look, he stepped in for Romero, no problems really. Aggressive display, helped us keep that clean sheet when Arsenal were really building pressure in the last 25 minutes or so. And yeah, I think he just went about his business quite calmly, quite confidently, and really aggressive nature as well.
I'm going to start calling him the magnet, because whenever the ball's in the air, somehow his head's there. He just absolutely loves defending, and aerially, he is a powerhouse. He is incredible in the air, and I really, really enjoy seeing him. I think we've got a bargain in him. I really do. If he could just work on his ball playing and getting the ball out, we have one hell of a centre back in our ranks. And the magnet, as I am going to call him now, aerially, he's just incredible.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. And as a backup centre-back, you can't really get much better than Kevin Danso, in my opinion. Absolutely brilliant. Let's move on to Matisse Tel. 6s all round for Tel. Came on in the number 9. What he did do was ran his heart out, to be honest. He never stopped running throughout the time he was on the pitch. But I did feel like he didn't get himself in positions, or maybe he wasn't being fed, but I didn't really notice him in the number 9 when we were trying to hurt Arsenal. But where I did notice him is when he drifted over to the left, because he drifted over to the left, put in a brilliant cross to Mickey van der Ven, and we should be sitting here talking about a brilliant assist, because it was a cross right on the money, and Mickey's got to put it in the back of the net. So he's a left winger, he's not a striker in my opinion, and when Solanke comes back in on the weekend, I think we'll see him more on the left-hand side, and he just played there because we just needed bodies in the number 9 position. But I think he could be a really good player for us on the left.
Yeah, I think, like we said, with Frat, I think we will play not hugging the touchline on the left, a little bit more inside. But there's no doubt that cross was a quality cross. There's no doubt. We've said that his delivery the only thing I've been able to see him live on, and I've mentioned it, is his movement when we were at Wolves, which was fantastic. We need to see more from him, but that was a very inviting cross. And if it had fallen to anyone other than Mickey, the biggest man with the worst heading, it probably could have been 2-0. But it was a very, very good cross on the money. And they didn't have a long time to do anything major, did they?
No, not at all. But, I like his... like many of our players, I like his work rate, and I think Frank will really like that about him, and I think Frank can take him up a few levels this season from what he showed last season anyway. All right, let's move on to the last player, which is Brennan Johnson, and we talk about the players who have really impressed in pre-season. I think Brennan Johnson has been really poor throughout pre-season. Brian's given him a 6, I've given him a 5, and he came in on the right wing, and I think he barely touched the ball. I can't remember a thing that he did, and you're looking at him playing against League One opposition so far in pre-season. I think he hasn't done himself any favours. And then again, yesterday, I think he came in and just failed to make an impact, to be honest.
I don't even know why I gave him a 6. I thought I gave him a 5. But so what I want to do is I can solve this. I want to knock him down to a 5 and give that spare point to Odobert, who gets a 7. So now I'm good. Now I'm good. Yeah, he came on, and he's not. I mean, the only thing I remember him doing is getting a yellow card and having a altercation with someone in the penalty area.
Yeah.
I'm someone that thought that Brennan Johnson would actually thrive under Frank, play off the striker, be more central, be able to affect the games when he was on, but he really hasn't, has he? He really hasn't. But we know what he does. We know what Brennan Johnson does, and if need be, maybe this is the time, and I don't mean this in a bad way to him. A lot of people were saying maybe he's an impact sub. Well, now with Kudus, maybe that's exactly what he will be, or coming on late in games or rotation. But I think Brennan Johnson needs to have a good couple of games and grab the minutes that he's about to get against Newcastle and Bayern Munich, because then it's go time. And at the moment, he's way off the pace.
Well, you talk about an impact sub. That's what he was asked to do yesterday, and he didn't make an impact. So, look, he got 18 goals last season, so we shouldn't be too harsh on him. He had a very good season, scored the winner for us in Bilbao, so he always got that. So I think that when you're looking at our right wing options next season with Kudus and Johnson, I think we're in good hands. I just need to see Brennan Johnson step up because he's been poor in pre-season so far.
Correct.
Let's talk about the manager, Thomas Frank, our favourite subject. 8 all round for Thomas Frank. And look, I think structurally, he got us set up on point yesterday. We looked so hard to play against. Arsenal could barely lay a glove on us for the most part. And I think that's all down to the way Thomas Frank has set us up. And I think so quickly he's got us tough to beat, in my opinion. I think, look, time will tell if this carries on to the Premier League, because it is just pre-season at the end of the day, but it is a North London derby, and there's never friendly against Arsenal. And to see Arsenal struggling just to lay a glove on us was music to my ears, or music, or should I say, it's not music to my ears, because anyway, music to my ears. I'll just leave it at that.
You go with that? You go with that?
Yeah, I'll go with that. But I think what I do want to see more from a Frank team is attacking intent and attacking patterns of play. I don't think that is there just yet. But what he is doing is making us a real hard team to play against, and I credit him on that massively, because for too often now, for too long, 2 years under Range, we've been a really soft touch, and straight away it looks like we're going to be a really hard team to play against.
Yeah, the only reason he hasn't got a 9 or a 10 from me was exactly what you said, the lack of real spark up top. But how many times in a game have we got in at 1-0 at half time and then come out the second half and we're all nervous, and not one moment of doubt for me, not one moment of doubt. And then when you listen to how he spoke in his post-game snippet afterwards, when he just broke everything down, you can hear what he wants to do, you can see what he's seeing. And if this is the base that he's working off of, we're on a very good structure, and I can't wait. There's going to be a lot of smiling from you and me this season when talking about this man, and I am all for it. Good, great, especially coming off the 2 lackluster performances on Saturday, and then everything going on. I think the first real test he had, he stood up to it, and you're always going to get a higher mark if you win a North London derby, aren't you?
Absolutely. So, first test, passed with flying colours, finally beaten Arsenal for the first time in 3 years. Yes, it's just pre-season, but let's hope it's just a sign of things to come for Thomas Frank. But that is our player ratings. Let us know yours in the comments section below as we move on to the last segment of the live stream, and we're going to be looking at how the internet has been reacting to that North London derby win, plus a few other things as well. So let's get straight into that. I think you might need to refresh. Yeah, so this first one from LiveScore saying Joao Palhinha made over 100 more tackles than anyone else in the Premier League over the last 2 seasons at Fulham. Spurs are getting an absolute destroyer. Look at that. Moises Caicedo, 191. Joao Palhinha, 300.
Win your duels. Win your duels is all I can say. We've had Are You Not Entertained? It's what we do. Now the new one is Win Your Duels.
Absolutely. And it's just something that we've needed for so long, man. Come on. Lily White Rose just showing us Mikey Moore's announcement at Rangers today. So, yeah, big up to Mikey. He's going to have a big impact there, and can't wait to see what's to come for him this season. I really think it's going to be a big season for him.
Mate, we've got such a good connection with Rangers. You look at Richard Goff.
Yeah.
Gaza,
Yeah.
Mikey Moore. I'm sure there's a few others. Jermaine Defoe.
Yeah.
Was that right?
And all
There is a
top
nice
players
little
as well.
connection. Exactly. There's a nice little Spurs Rangers connection, and let's hope that continues with Mikey Moore.
Yeah, this one is from a Korean account. Sonny, we're all talking about how glum he looks and he doesn't look right, but look, he's looking very happy on the sidelines here, that's for sure.
It feels very weird actually seeing him with a camera and not doing like that.
Yeah.
It's like, what are we doing, Sonny? You've got that wrong, mate. But yeah, so look, that has to be the best smile in the world. And really when he's not smiling, it's not good. So to see him smiling is wonderful.
Yeah, lights up the stadium, definitely does. SZY Comps has a screenshot of Mikey Moore and Rangers' post, and Jermaine Defoe has commented on it, and he says, it's emotional seeing this, so happy for you, bro. And yeah, we know Jermaine Defoe is probably going to be kind of seeing him through this. I'm sure they'll be in a lot of contact throughout the season.
100%.
And then by a bit further down, that's just the announcement from Spurs for Mikey Moore. Look at this one. This is what Spence put on his social media after the game yesterday. Just him completely locking down Bukayo Saka in the game yesterday. Look at that.
Do you remember this
picture?
This reminds me. Do you remember the picture of Harry Winks kicking Wilshere in the face? Of the North London, the Emirates.
Yeah.
It's just like that. Look at him. I'm sure he got up and started limping after this picture.
Of course he did. Of course he did.
Good
He
old
limps
Jed.
when he wants Bukayo Saka.
Yep.
Look at this one. This next one. This is the nutmeg from Cuti Romero slowed down. This is just mad, isn't it? That's our centre-back.
Mate, the whole
in our
thing.
Box.
I just love the momentum that he went for Romero so hard that he just got done and took out Jed Spence instead. That's just quality.
You look at that, studs up into Jed. I mean, that should be the sending off.
You know what? The more you look at it that close, you'd think that VAR, if that was in the Premier League, we're speaking about the Pape Matar for the goal. That will be looked at, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
That is actually quite nasty.
Exactly. Havertz couldn't handle it yesterday. He was nowhere to be seen in the game yesterday, completely locked down. But look at these predictions from the AFTV lot ahead of the game yesterday. Cecil goes for 3-1 to Arsenal. James goes for 4-2 to Arsenal. Laurie goes for 3-1. Robbie goes for 3-2. And Turkish goes for 3-1. All of them were absolutely gutted after the game yesterday. And they try to tell us it's a pre-season. If it's a pre-season, why are you also gutted? Or a friendly.
Exactly.
If it's a friendly, why are you also gutted?
And we all know if the shoe was on the other foot, they would be doing that. But do you know what? Like I said when we spoke yesterday, fair play to Robbie when he came on the channel and was saying and speaking well of Thomas Frank and whatnot. But yeah, they really got that wrong in the predictions, didn't they?
Yeah, they really did. And, I was sitting here with Danny doing our predictions before the game. Danny went for a 2-1 loss. And I was like, what are you predicting a 2-1 loss for in North London derby here in the studio? I went for a 2-1 win, but I didn't get the 2-1 right, but I knew we were going to win yesterday.
Yeah, I went for 3-2. I went for 3-2.
Yeah.
But, mate, like we said, we won the first North London derby at Wembley, history. We won the first North London derby at the new stadium, history. And now, forevermore, when the pub quiz question comes out, who won the first North London derby outside of England? Tottenham Hotspur.
We're a team of first, Brian. That's just us.
Damn
That's
right.
Tottenham. That's our history. Tottenham
right.
Talk saying, it's a bit weird that Gyökeres got subbed off straight after coming on. Where was he yesterday? Nobody saw him. I had to put out a search warrant out for Victor Gyökeres yesterday.
Mate, I really love him as a striker, and obviously him going there really, really annoyed me. It weren't the best performances, but I think I'm going to keep my noise down because we don't know what he's going to do during the season, and it could come back to bite us. But yesterday he was non-existent.
Yeah. This one says, winning the Hong Kong Cup versus Arsenal means more than the Super Cup against PSG. What would you say to that?
No. But what I will say, I had an Arsenal fan actually commented on our thing and actually said, "Guys, it's a pre-season friendly. Guys, you Spurs fans have no shame." And I was like, "What you mean? Like the women winning the Champions League and you claiming it bigger than the Europa League? Have no shame." Yeah, no. PSG always beating the filth is the aim, but to go and win the Super Cup against the reigning Champions League winners is massive. Maybe not the actual, but for the actual confidence and season going forward, that's a big confidence booster.
I saw that as well. Like someone was saying, "Oh, sign of a small club when you're tweeting out lifting a trophy in a pre-season friendly." And I was like, "I'm pretty sure you guys have done the same for the Emirates Cup every time you win the Emirates Cup."
Yeah. But I'll tell you what, Spurs. We sometimes go mad at Spurs Twitter for not reading the room and what's going on. But when they just put another trophy for the European champions straight after we won, fair play, Tottenham Hotspur for putting that tweet out.
Pape Matassar says the North London derby is special wherever we are. Thank you, Hong Kong. And he's there showing his celebration, showing him striking the ball, showing him the celebration again, and then his man of the match award yesterday. And it seemed like everyone had their picture with that man of the match award yesterday. So big up to Pape. This one was Sonny putting the captain's armband on Richarlison yesterday. There's Richarlison and Romero and Sonny having a nice little joke with each other yesterday.
Oh, that man. Do you know what? Richarlison is such a good guy to have around the dressing room, isn't he? He's such a good guy to have on your side. It will be a sad day when he leaves for the shithousery.
Yeah. Look at this one. This is everyone's... everyone's not favourite, or everyone's worst Arsenal fan. And he says, any Arsenal team, you wear the shirt, you play Spurs, you do not lose. It's that simple. Really? Friendly, was it? I bet you after the game you were saying, oh, it's just a friendly.
Of course they would have.
And that they actually made Arsenal watch Spurs lift the trophy after the game as well.
Honestly, maybe they should have got the dog win over.
Yeah, exactly.
This is what you're meant to do.
Yeah. This was Thomas Frank's pre-match team talk yesterday. If we can get the volume on for that one, because I loved it.
Yep.
We need to land on the second balls. Make sure you win your 50-50s. They'll be aggressive. We need to be aggressive. Make sure we're brave, okay?
So when they go long,
brilliant stuff.
It is, but you know what? You look at it. This is the difference that you'll see, and this isn't we had Ange Postecoglou, who we saw gave really passionate, emotional, like psychological, get in the head, like really passionate ones to get you motivated and run through a brick wall, which he did, and we've seen the ones there's no doubt when he could deliver a speech. Thomas Frank's gone the other way and gone very tactical, and it's about the game. Yeah. Obviously, we didn't get to see everything Ange did. We didn't get to see everything Frank did. If Frank speaks passionately from the heart, but we knew that Ange Postecoglou could send out a rallying cry, rally the troops, and go for it from a mental kind of aspect. He's doing it purely from a tactical.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's something that we've needed, in my opinion.
Yeah.
James Black brings up the picture of Frank with some sort of award yesterday, and he says, I always win trophies in my first season, mate. And I was thinking about it as well, like with the defensive solidity and setup that we're going to have next season, I think we're going to be able to beat some of the big teams next season. Yep. And that's going to stand us in really good stead for the domestic cups, isn't it?
Well, put it this way, how many was it? It was really poor last season, obviously the injuries. Was it 6 home wins all season last season in the league?
Something like that, yeah.
That's going to be eclipsed night and day, hopefully doubled or trebled, whatever. Like you said, the defence and a solid base, if you don't concede, you don't lose. And I think we are going to look so solid in defence. We just need to get that attacking part right.
Yeah. I would love it to be trebled. If it gets trebled, we might have a season like the last season of White Hart Lane.
Exactly. But why not? Why not?
Super Spurs says, give this motherfucker the armband, and many of you an apology. Romero putting out a message saying, get ready for what's coming all together this season. And look, I probably are one of the first ones to owe this guy an apology, because there was at some point last season, I can't remember after what, I think it was after the Wolves game, where he just put in a shocking performance and didn't look like he didn't want to be there. I said, I don't want to see this guy ever have the armband on ever again. So I apologise, Kuti, because I do want to see you as captain next season. I think he's the right man for the job.
Yeah, I mean, he is a big game player. He doesn't lose finals. Mm-hmm. When he's on song, he is world class. He is simply world class. I've always adored him for what he has said about the hierarchy, but obviously, like you said, there's sometimes in his game where he's switched off or he doesn't look that he wants to be there, but it's looking like he does want to be there, and I just hope him wanting to be there means you're going to put pen to paper, because if he signs the extension, then he's got to get the armband, doesn't he?
Yeah, 100%. I need to see that contract, man. I need to see that contract.
Yep.
This one's great. Another one in the cabinet. It's beginning to fill up. Look at Arsenal's trophy cabinet. It is really starting to stack up now. They've got won a few games away at Spurs. They got the We Beat Real Madrid trophy, 3 consecutive second place finish trophy. They've got the Our Women's Team won the Champions League trophy. They got the Decker's free kick trophy, St Tottringham's Day. The Gyökeres Here We Go has more likes than the Spurs Europa League tweet. They've got Our Kits Are the Best in the Century trophy. They got Anne Hathaway and Dua Lipa Supports Us trophy, and most importantly, they've got more wins in a season than the Invincibles trophy as well. It's really starting to stack up there for Arsenal.
Mate, I had not seen this one, and this one's Twitter. This is great. You need to send me the link to this, because I'm going to retweet the crap out of that. This is brilliant. Whoever did it, who did you say did it?
BLTHFC.
Played, sir. Well played, or madame. Well done. That is brilliant.
James Black with those predictions from AFTV again, saying they even bottle predictions. Super Spurs saying fair play to Arsenal, the only team to go toe-to-toe with both European champions.
Well, technically, we should beat PSG now, because we just beat the team that played the best in the Champions League.
Yeah, exactly.
So it should be plain sailing.
Yeah. Ayudi says Sonny refused to wear the captain's armband, but Kuti insisted that he put it on his arm. I think the actual video of that's been deleted, but there was a video showing that Son just didn't want to wear the armband, and Kuti just basically forced it on him, didn't he?
Damn right.
What do you read into that?
I think maybe I sometimes think maybe that was because he'd just come on as a sub. I'm not reading into that. I'm leaving and whatever. He literally came on with 7-8 minutes to play, or maybe a little bit more than that. And he was like, why give me the captain's armband when I hardly... That's what I read into that. I'm not reading into that's me resigning from the captaincy, you're the man now. I think it was solely because he hardly played.
So the next one's the Romero, which we've been through. Spurs Army saying Saka limp in pre-season. The game has never been so back. And that limp was back with a vengeance yesterday.
Do you know, it was. And do you know what? We've had all summer to have the banter and saying that we've won our trophy. And then what culminates that? Saka limping, Spurs winning a North London derby. It just resets and refreshes all of us for a bit more North London derby banter. Yeah,
lovely. Victor Gyökeres has recorded the worst ever debut rating in English football above the Vanarama National League. He got a 4.1 rating yesterday in the North London derby.
Yeah, he did that, and then this is why he gets the worst. Vuskovic has 10 minutes in a debut. Crunching tackle, goal assist, thank you very much. Yeah. And he gets 4.1.
I don't know what Brennan Johnson's trying here with Matisse Tell. He's got a bit of a ribbon that's come down from the confetti, and he's putting it around Matisse Tell's neck. What is going on over here?
He thinks it's a tape measure and getting his shirt collar size. That's why I'm going for the clean version there. Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. A bit of shithousery and banter between Richarlison and Gabriel yesterday on social media. Richarlison was holding up Pape Sarr's Man of the Match award and also the trophy that they won yesterday, and tagged Gabriel in it, and Gabriel just uploaded a picture tagging Richarlison with his 3 Man the Match awards from the last 3 North London derbies. I swear, the only person that wanted that trophy was Richarlison yesterday.
Oh mate, he really wanted it, didn't he? Wouldn't I just wish he'd gone up to Gabriel and just lifted it in front of him.
Yeah.
I just said, here you go, you have a hold and get your weights in.
All Things THFC saying Frank has unlocked a beast. Pape Matasar's rating so far in pre-season: 3 goals in 3 games, 7.7 against Arsenal, 8.2 against Wickham, 6.8 against Reading. He really is one of the standout performers so far.
Yeah, without doubt. We spoke about this earlier. He has been the player that has grabbed this ball by the horns and is flourishing under Thomas Frank. And this is a position where we didn't know who was going to play, as we discussed. So well done, Pape Matasar, and long may it continue.
Yeah. So All Things Tottenham saying Gyökeres didn't want the smoke yesterday. This was before the game, Romero and Van de Ven. And then, funnily enough, Gyökeres only came on once Romero and Van de Ven was on the pitch, and he still couldn't do anything.
Damn right. Damn right. What a shame. What a shame. Hopefully this will be how he plays in future North London derbies.
Yeah. Arteta loves to get bitched around by our players. So cast your mind back to the Nuno pre-season when we beat Arsenal. Højbjerg squaring up to Mikel Arteta. Yep. Fast forward to this pre-season. Arteta, outside his technical area, blocking Pedro Porro from taking a throw. Get out my way, Pedro says, and just pushes him back in his technical area. Things you love to see.
Yeah, listen, I used to joke, we used to joke about Ben with Conte, that he used to walk around the outline like it was a crime scene and there was a body there and they had the... This guy is even further out. I don't know how. This is a regular thing he does and there's no consequences. Yeah. No one tells him to go back. He is constantly trying to do things like this. And not just him, but other managers, that it needs to be a thing because it is blatant taking the piss and trying to interrupt the flow of the game. But yeah, that's what Lego Ed does. That's all he can do.
Yeah, it's time someone put him back in his place, and Pedro Porro definitely did that yesterday. All Things THFC saying this guy is going to be a joke under Frank, and that is Pape Sarr picking up his award. Spurs Army saying that Tottenham Hotspur win the North London derby for the first time in 3 years. Under Ange Postecoglou, we played 4, lost 4. The last time we won a North London derby was May 2022 under Antonio Conte. It's been too long. But the next step is to do it in a competitive game. We have to beat Arsenal this season in a competitive game, and I'm sure we will.
Can I just say as well, and I need to give Ange some credit here because that's wrong. He didn't play 4, lost 4. We went to the one where we drew 2-2.
Oh, that's true.
He lost 3 and he drew 1.
Yeah,
so with everything going on, give Ange, and I will say that North London derby that we drew, I thought we were fantastic that day. It was in that first 10 games. We were absolutely superb. So... Yeah. I get what they're trying to say here, but he didn't play 4, lose 4. He drew 1, lost 3. We should have won that one. But yeah, it's not 4 in 4.
Yeah, no, absolutely spot on. Neo THFC, are you getting the same vibes as we're getting? Look at Cristiano Ronaldo with Alex Ferguson. Fast forward to 2025, it's Thomas Frank and Mohamed Kudus.
So we're going to see how we know how Frank develops players on the pitch. We're now going to get to see closely how he is the man off the pitch and everything. And the way he prays, I love... One of my new words is going to be top, because he loves that word.
Yeah.
This is top. That is top. And I can see him... I can see him having the Harry Redknapp kind of arm around the shoulder thing on it. Maybe not as flamboyant or whatever, but I think we're going to see new things with Frank that even I couldn't see. And it looks like he is really, really... enjoying what he's seen with Kudos, isn't it?
Absolutely spot on. THFC report just showing us that Richarlison shithousery for the celebration yesterday for the goal. You love to see it. Richarlison cupping his ears to the Arsenal fans yesterday. After that, we had... Just like when you look at it in that shot, like how the hell is anyone missing from there, man?
Mate, from there you would kind of think where his hand is. He maybe handed it. And before it got to his head. But yeah, I don't see how you could miss. I mean, my heading was terrible. I probably would have been able to miss this quite easily. My heading was my worst thing, but I don't know how from that angle you could miss that.
And he's good with his head as well. He just didn't make a connection with it. It kind of hit his shoulder or whatever. Lily White Rose says, what a fantastic, resilient performance. Every box ticked, loads of rotation of the squad, and third straight clean sheet in public games, which is Reading, Luton and Arsenal. All the sweeter knowing that some of the Gooners that he knew sat together at the Emirates, because the Emirates put on a live screening of the game yesterday. So that must have been brilliant to see.
Yep.
And the last one that we're going to see is, this is the moment that we were talking about. Pedro Porro just shoving Arteta back in his technical area. Get back in your box, mate. Get back in your box.
Mate, I think someone should have done like a Kai Havertz challenge on Spence. Someone should just go, listen, Arteta, you're not learning. Wallop. Just slide along the pitch.
On Arteta, you mean?
Yeah, do it on Arteta. Just literally come along. Yeah, it is what it is. But Porro, the man, I love that man. How can you not love Pedro Porro?
Yeah, it's so true. So true. But anyway, that is it. That is how the internet did react to the North London derby yesterday. Some great stuff in there. And I think that is all we have time for today. You going live on Tottenham on Tour now? Is that the plan?
Going, after we finish here, I'm going to go quickly to the bathroom. Then I am live on Tottenham on Tour.
So everyone go over to Tottenham on Tour if you want to go see some more of Brian. And yeah, that is it from us today. We'll be back for some pre-Newcastle content at some point as well. But thank you everyone for joining us today. Like, subscribe and comment. And as always, come on you Spurs.
Come on you Spurs.